think back to your favorite music composers. If I were to mention Superman right away, you have that old Christopher Reeve theme in your head. The same goes for Star Wars, Jaws, Indiana Jones, the first two Jurassic Park movies, the first three Harry Potter movies. That's John Williams. The man is a legend in the movie world. Right next to him is Danny Elfman. Batman 1989. Batman Returns. Beetlejuice. Edward Scissorhands. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Alice in Wonderland.
Oh,
wow. Spider-Man 1 and 2. And most definitely Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sorry.
So you have those in your head, right?
Of course. I grew up back then.
Now, for us wrestling fans, it's this.
I thought you could stay, but I was so wrong. The end is here. The game is over. No more pretending. No more. No more. The end is here. The end is here. The end is here.
Oh, I know the guy that made all our favorite themes.
Jim Johnson, right? Yeah. So we're talking about Armageddon. Is that theme song, The End?
Yeah. Oh, I love that song. I like that they made it sound like Doors. In the beginning, I thought it was the Doors.
I thought it was too.
Yeah.
I thought it was too. That was the theme song to the Armageddon pay-per-view. It's called The End by Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson is the John Williams and Danny Elfman of the wrestling world.
Absolutely.
You wanted a song for a wrestler back in the 90s, you go to him. Yeah. Over the course of 3 decades, he composed and recorded entrance theme music for WWE wrestlers, and compilations of his music released by WWE charted highly in several countries. Writing and recording mostly by himself, he wrote over 10,000 pieces of music, many of which are as highly regarded as the wrestler themselves.
Yeah.
In later years, more. Right? In later years, he regularly collaborated with mainstream hip-hop and rock musicians such as Motorhead, Disturbed, Kid Rock, Ice-T, Run DMC, and Our Lady Peace. For new music and different takes on existing entrance music. Yeah. You can clearly tell the song was inspired by Jim Morrison of the Doors.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was them back, and now back then, just Google it. Well, you didn't just Google things in like 2003, so
right. His music is described by Newsweek as being legendary as the WWE stars themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
While Metal Hammer ranks some of his themes as the most metal songs used as entrance music, Vice said the tracks weren't just catchy, colorful pieces of music, but cinematic scores that communicated the emotional makeup of your favorite wrestler clearer than any catchphrase ever could.
Yeah.
In a 2004 interview with Mix, he described feeling a sense of responsibility to create unique sounding music for each wrestler that also had instant recognizability. Johnson is credited with writing entrance theme songs for the most popular wrestlers over the course of his 30-year tenure. In particular, the company's Attitude Era into the early 2000s, Johnson wrote, composed, and produced his compositions alone. In addition to playing all the instruments, including self-teaching a new instrument if necessary, seeing him in documentaries with him trying to teach himself how to play the guitar, try to teach himself how to play anything at all. We could go on and on about this man. The fact that he needs his own segment on this show with just a top 10 entrance themes. We will do that the same way we've done the top 10 stables and top 10 top non-champions. Basically, too long, didn't read. This man is a legend. This episode of Under the Apron is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard yet, Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with all the tools you need, all in one place. Just type in anchor.fm on your browser and start creating that podcast that you've been talking about starting all year long. Take advantage of Anchor's creation tools. You can record, edit, add music, or any type of audio you like right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast on many different listening platforms, such as Spotify, Apple, Google, or even Stitcher. And that's just to name a few. It's everything you need to make a podcast. And want to know what's the best part about it? Absolutely, totally free. Join us and download the Anchor app on your phone or go to anchor.fm on your browser to get started right away. Link will be in the show notes.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
You're listening to Mama Murdered a Podcast. I'm your host, AB. Mama Murdered a Podcast is a podcast where me, the mama, will be killing it on the podcast. We'll be taking a deep dive into things that are hard to talk about and even harder to believe that these things actually happen in the world that we live in. This entire podcast will be a trigger warning. I'll be talking about triggering topics while I dive headfirst into a lot of the cases that I'll be covering. New episodes will be released every week on Wednesdays because nobody likes Mondays and because Fridays are for day drinking and barbecues. Some of the case topics will be murder, of course, serial killers, like Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, missing persons cases, like 5-year-old Summer Wells, who vanished from her own yard in broad daylight in the middle of June in Tennessee in 2021. And especially the ones where it kind of seems like they just vanished into thin air, like Brian Schaefer. He walked into a bar, but he never walked out. He's still never been seen again. I'll also be covering cold cases and lesser-known cases. Join me every Wednesday to talk about all things tragic, murder, and things that happen in the downright ugliest sides of society. If you like what you hear and you want to support the podcast, you can rate me on Spotify. You can also leave a review and rating on Apple Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at murdered_mama. All of these things are free and they only take about a second to do, and it really does help grow the podcast. If you have any case suggestions, please send them my way. You can send them to the email address mamamurderedapodcast@gmail.com.
Welcome back, podcast and wrestling geeks alike. I am Ernie, and with me is sure to get you out of any situation as long as it's legal and you have the right amount of money to represent you.
Oh.
My co-host and best friend, Michael. How are you today?
Hey, good, man. Just trying to get over this icy weather here. It looks like midnight here, so if I yawn, it's just because we're on the East Coast. So
You're yawning. Good. What? Where?
It looks
you
like
know what you need
out here.
Do you know what you need right now?
I do know what I need, and I'm waiting for you to let me open it.
Let's open it together then.
Okay, so
all right.
Do you have one too?
I have my orange Zoa, wild orange.
All right, I got my white peach.
Black Adam is in the front of the thing.
Oh, of course, same. Go ahead, crack yours and I'll crack mine.
All right, here we go.
And we're gonna go back with tradition, so you got to read the back.
Of course, traditional. All right, the back. My fellow everyday warriors, Zoa is about healthy, positive energy to help us all focus, be productive, and get stronger together. Mana, gratitude, Zoa. Dwayne Johnson, get your Zoa today is delicious.
No. I gotta get mine as soon as I run out. I try to get them. I try to get like 3 or 4 at the beginning of the week, and then I try to get 3 or 4 in the middle.
Right. Today we're talking about Armageddon 2007.
Yep.
From May 1995 to February 1999, the WWF held a series of monthly pay-per-views titled In Your House. The WWF discontinued the In Your House series to establish permanent names for the monthly pay-per-view that would be held annually. Armageddon was established that year to be held as the annual December pay-per-view. The inaugural Armageddon was held on December 12th, 1999 at the National Car Rental Center in Sunrise, Florida, and it aired live on pay-per-view. The first 2 Armageddon events were held when the promotion was still called the WWF. In 2001, Armageddon was replaced by Vengeance due to the September 11th attacks. The promotion felt that the name Armageddon would offend victims of the attacks. Armageddon, however, was reinstated in 2002, with Vengeance moving up to July.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In 2002, the WWF changed its name to World Wrestling Entertainment due to a court order following a lawsuit from the World Wildlife Fund over the WWF initialism. Frickin' pandas. The promotion also held their very first draft that year to split its roster into 2 distinct brands of wrestling, Raw and SmackDown, where wrestlers would exclusively perform. ECW was added as a 3rd brand in 2006. The 2002 event featured wrestlers from both Raw and SmackDown, but the 2003 event was held exclusively for the Raw brand. It was then held exclusively for the SmackDown brand from 2004 to 2006. Following WrestleMania 23 in 2007, WWE discontinued brand exclusive pay-per-view. The 2007 event was the last pay-per-view from to be broadcast by WWE in 480p standard definition format. In January of 2008, all WWE programming switched to 720p high definition. In 2008 was the final event as Armageddon was discontinued and replaced by TLC table, ladders, and chairs in 2009. We will get to that one later in the month because it is December, that month of Armageddon. This one is about the 2007 pay-per-view. I had asked Michael what he wanted to do, and he said the one with Jeff Hardy winning the championship.
Oh, why are you calling me out here?
Hey, it's okay. We've done that before here. I immediately jumped to 2008 because that's when he won the championship, but it was a miscommunication like I did with Drew with the AWR pod a couple months ago. He told me to watch this episode of Monday Night Raw. I watched it. He said, oh, no, we're talking about this other episode. Man had me watching 2 hours of minis wrestling.
To be fair, though, Jeff Hardy had an important role in 07, too.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So we're going to do 2 Armageddon shows. One in 2007, which is this one, and the 2008, which you will still hear in a couple of weeks. If you heard us review old pay-per-views or premium live events, as they are now called, then you know we go by our rating system. During the show, we'll be stating additional facts that you may or may not have known already that we just happened to come across on the web over the years. At times, we will discuss what happened afterwards to either the feud or the wrestler throughout the year. After we discuss the Royal Rumble in this moment, we will rate it by the card, the roster, and is it rewatchable by giving a unique rating system, such as how many videotapes out of 10 would we give it, and would we take it with us to school to have our friends watch it and have it passed around. Hey, just like our homework. So, what do you remember about this pay-per-view?
Well, now that I watched it again, because I thought I remembered, but I think the most important part for this pay-per-view was still the Jeff Hardy. It was his storyline. That was the most important. Him facing Triple H. I think that was, to me, even though it wasn't the main event, I think that, to me, that was the most memorable takeaway from Armageddon 07.
It was a long time ago. I forgot all about them. Like, there's a lot of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's a lot of pay-per-views.
I don't remember some. I don't Like, I had to look back, like, when did this happen? Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, so let's start off with the dark match. That, like you said, there was a Jeff Hardy one.
Yeah.
He again faced Triple H in the following year, 2008. We'll talk about
Yeah.
that later. But the dark match was the same as that, where these two tag teams face each other again in a dark match in 2008 on the same pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about Morrison and Miz, right?
Yeah. In this one, though, Jesse and Festus defeated John Morrison and Miz. Festus, who now goes by Luke Gallows.
Right. Yeah.
We'll get more into that in the 2008 version of it, as well as these two teams. For now, Jesse and Festus defeated John Morrison and Miz. Next, the first match, the one that was aired, that we all saw, Rey Mysterio versus MVP Montalva and Tavius Porter for the Intercontinental Championship. The match lasted 11 minutes and 29 seconds. But there was a count out in there, and
MVP kept the belt.
MVP kept the belt. No championship was changed during this altercation. Yeah. Mysterio used his quickness and aerial techniques to be on the top. He wrestled a good match by sending MVP, who crashed on the arena floor, and then he executed a Hurricanrana on MVP. MVP got into the ring to break the referee's 10 count. MVP also got up at the 8 count, but he simply walked out instead of coming back into the ring after.
That's a matter of opinion. I think he was injured. I think it's a matter of opinion. He tried to get up, and his knee gave out, and so he fell back down to the ground. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, of course.
I think any reasonable person would see
it. MVP was counted out, and thus he retained the title because his title does not change hands by a count out. After the match, though, Mysterio threw MVP back into the ring and executed a 619 on MVP. You know, I waited for like the entire match for me to yell, "Ballin'!" but it didn't happen.
Which, you know, as me being, you know, and as a law student, I'm just saying, once the match was over, everything Rey Mysterio did was battery. The match was over. They were no longer in a professional capacity. He attacked him after the match that he should have been maybe sanctioned, maybe brought up on charges. I don't know, but whatever. It's 2007, so there's nothing we can do about it now. Statute is already gone.
What? This man is actually using his career expertise to talk about the match. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about this in the Montreal Screwjob.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can have fun with that one.
Wise man, I need your counsel.
All right. Well, I will look over it again. I'll make sure to bring up all the points. Maybe we can help Bret Hart. But the statue's probably gone in that one too. But we can still help him out.
Statue of limitations. The next. From Under the Apron.
From Under the Apron. Go ahead.
Law and Order from Under the Apron.
Yeah. I mean, they've got like 20 different versions, right? Why not give us one? We'll call it Law and Order, FUTP.
SUTC.
From Under the Apron, FUTP.
Oh. There you go. Law and Order, FUTC. FUTA?
P. FUTP.
Apron.
Yeah, From Under the Apron, FUTP.
Okay.
That's us, right?
Yes. All right. What's next?
So next we had.
Hold on. Next, we have what Big E we usually call big meaty men slapping meat. We have Big Daddy B, formerly known as Mabel, and
Viscera.
Big V, Big Vis, whatever.
Yeah.
And the Hall of Pain entrant, Mark Henry, versus Kane and CM Punk.
CM Punk.
Why is Punk in this?
Why not? Back then,
Why
he was a
not?
big deal. I just want to point out, we got to give props to Matt Stryker looking back. Can
Yes.
you agree with me that Matt Stryker was the 2000s version of like the Genius, or like he was the 2000s kids version of the Genius, or
Bobby Heenan,
I wouldn't go that far.
Mouth to the South.
No, I'd say because Matt Stryker, remember, wasn't he the school teacher? He was like the math teacher or whatever.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
So yeah.
But his commentary, when he commentated, that's where he excelled.
Well, maybe he wasn't as commentary, but as far as a manager, he was basically like,
he was doing everything. They tried to make him feel like they set him out to fail, but he didn't.
See, I feel the opposite. I feel like they were giving him a lot of opportunities. Like, okay, you're not doing that well in this, go do this. That didn't work out, go do this. But you feel like it's the opposite?
Wrestling didn't work out, so go do this, manager.
Yeah. And
that's not working out, so go do this. Oh, commentary, he was freaking amazing.
He did good on commentary, yeah. I think he found his niche in commentary.
Yeah, and then after that, for the first month he wasn't that good, but he's like, I'm a freaking wrestling nerd. Of course, I'm gonna know everything. As soon as he shows up in Lucha Underground, I'm like, I can hear this man talk for like hours.
Cool. Okay,
let's go. Let's do that.
All right.
He was like referencing anything he could, and like, that's basically it. All right, so go ahead.
I would say, so this match, I feel like this probably should have been the opening match. I feel that like this was a Dudley Boys open up pay-per-view match. It was fun. I think it's a weird matchup. I don't know what. Like I said, it's funny when you look back, because like, why was CM Punk and Kane together? I'm sure there was a reason for it back then, but like now I couldn't.
Oh, there was I think there was a little promo.
Like it was a brand thing, right? Was it?
Yeah, it was a brand. It was a brand. They were both in the ECW brand. They were all four of them. There was that one thing where Kane showed up in CM Punk's locker room holding a bag, a brown bag. It looked all raggedy and like, okay. And this was unmasked Kane. He was all bald.
Yeah,
Kane.
yeah.
So CM Punk looks at the bag. Is like, Kane, what's in the bag? Kane, what's in the bag? And Ken just like goes off unhinged about something else, something he can't control, and then CM Punk is worried because like, dude, what's in the bag? What did you do? What happened? What do I need to be careful about, man? And he just like, no, don't worry, all this stuff. And this was what, 2007 CM Punk?
I know.
So we're almost at the straight edge society.
I was gonna say, it's before his height, but he was on the upswing at this point. He was on the upswing. He
was almost there at the straight edge society, and I was just about to be like, that's my chosen.
Sure.
I'll follow you, sir. I love that Festive is in here too, but the way he just describes Festive as like, this man been on drugs. That's why he's now called as Gallows. Like, all right, sure. And the dude lost a lot of weight too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He went from Festive to looking like what he does now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay. Even if it's a lot of weight, but he cut up a lot. He's still a big guy, but he definitely body composition. He definitely changed his fat percentage for sure.
Yeah. We'll talk about more about them later on in 2008.
Yeah.
Even though it's a dark match, but we'll still talk about him because they showed up later that night. So for this match, the rivalry started on December 4th edition of ECW. Punk was forced to choose either Big Daddy V or Henry to face in the main event. Punk chose Henry. Punk got a disqualification victory when Big Daddy V interfered. The two tried to double team Punk until Kane made the save and attacked both Big Daddy V and Mark Henry, both big meaty men. a slapping meat. This made the Armageddon match of Kane and CM Punk against Big Daddy V and Mark Henry. On the December 11th edition of ECW, Punk and Kane picked up a victory against Deuce and Domino. What was that? One of I forgot which one it was, but one of them was Snuka's son, adopted son.
Yeah. So, and then was the other one Billy Gunn's tag team partner? What was it? Palumbo? Was it Palumbo or no?
Yeah, Palumbo.
Yeah, Palumbo, and yeah, I think it was Snuka's. Whatever, something to do with Snuka. Yeah.
Big Daddy V and Henry dominated the match by destroying Punk and Kane. The two managed to control in the middle of the match when Punk was able to bring Big Daddy V to one knee, but Big Daddy V overpowered Punk by executing a body avalanche and a Samoan drop on Punk to get the victory. Can we go back to Mabel? I didn't.
What? King Mabel?
Yeah.
On a mission.
Big Daddy V was too much. Like, for when he first debuted, well, I didn't know it was Mabel at first, but when he first came out looking like that with the...
Was that with the Ministry?
No, that was still Viscera.
But didn't he became Viscera when he got... Wasn't he Mabel until he got kidnapped by the Ministry?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was still Mabel, Ministry, Viscera, and then he gets released. Okay. And then he gets released, and then he comes back to ECW as Big Daddy V.
There you go. Okay.
And I'm thinking, this looks like what's his face? I forgot what his name was.
I'm not sure who he looked like. Are you talking about somebody from like way back, like the 80s, 70s?
Yeah.
Huh. I honestly don't know.
It was like, this little guy looks like Abdullah the Butcher.
There you go. Good. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. True. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Or either that or a Black Earthquake.
Black Earthquake. No, well, yeah, true. But
no, you got it right. You got it right.
Abdullah the Butcher with the way he just
yeah,
walks around and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
his pecs all the way around to his back like that.
Oh God. Rest in peace, Big Daddy V. At the same time, damn it. I think. And then was this his last gimmick, or was there another one where he was like?
No, I think that was
trying to seduce the woman.
I think he was Big Daddy V. Was his last. Maybe he turned good again. They called him Viscera. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was probably about it. Because I think he was out by 2009 at the latest.
Okay.
To my mind.
But I love that he gets put in the Ministry.
Yeah.
Undertaker's all cool about it. Like, yeah, man, you can come join. I don't mind that you broke my freaking clavicle and all that.
Oh,
It's cool. You know, you almost broke my eye socket. It's okay. You can come join my ministry. So it's like, oh, he forgave him. Cool.
Let's throw on a fun fact here, and maybe that we can do this on our backlots and backdrops. There was a movie called. Are you familiar with the movie called Wrong Side of Town?
Wrong Side of Town. No, I'm not.
So Wrong Side of Town is a movie starring Rob Van Dam. I don't even know if it's necessarily a WWE movie. It probably was, but starring Rob Van Dam.
Oh shit!
Batista was in it, and it's basically Rob Van Dam. I won't give away too much, but he gets in trouble with a crime lord, and so now it's basically he's running around town trying to survive, whatever. And so there's a bounty on his head, and Viscera's in the movie. Anyway, the point is Viscera's he plays he's probably in there for 45 seconds, but it's just kind of funny because he's in there, and since we're talking about it, but that could be, I think, backlots and backdrop. That's actually I think it's a good movie. Now, is it it's an action? I mean, if you're expecting any more from it than you would expect from any other Demolition Man Marine movie, but it's one of those. If you watch, I've watched it 2, 3, 4 times and I enjoy it. So.
Yeah, I have the cast right here. Starring Dave Bautista, Rob Van Dam. It has Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Omarion, Viscera, Stormy Daniels. Can't go wrong with that one.
But they're all in it for maybe 2-3 minutes apiece. But Batista's in it for an okay amount. But Rob Van Dam is like he's the star of the movie.
Rob Van Dam is a star of his own movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to check that one out then.
Yeah.
Put it on the list of movies to watch for backdrops and backlots.
Yeah.
We're doing backlots and backdrops. We're yes. Thank you, whoever voted backlots and backdrops to be the new name for our movie and TV show reviews.
I have it on good authority that a very genius, good-looking, intelligent, awesome, talented guy came up with that name, so I'm glad that they voted for him. Whoever you are that came up with that name, you're awesome, and whoever voted for it, you're just as awesome, because it takes one to know one.
I'm gonna put this as a quote. Posted everywhere. Mostly on Twitter, because they did it. They did that poll on Twitter, and I love it. I might have to. I might need a new graphic for that one too.
Okay.
So whoever can do graphics, hit your boy up. We need one for backdrop and backlots. B&B.
There you go.
All right. Next match. Something I've never thought I'd see. Shawn Michaels versus Mr. Kennedy.
I do kind of remember that. I do kind of remember that was like that was almost like it was in the same vein as the Jericho Shawn Michaels. It was kind of like it was supposed to be a passing of the card.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah.
But Kennedy. It never happened. Got released.
Never happened. I think it should have, though. I wasn't a Kennedy fan, but I thought he was definitely made a good heel. I mean, I loved it when he faced the guys. I think he made matches better. I was never a fan of Kennedy, but I feel like whenever he faced your favorite superstar, you definitely you hated him so much, but not that you hated him, you hated his character, and that's the quality of a heel. You're supposed to hate a heel. So yeah. I think he was an awesome heel. I never liked him as a face, but as a heel, I loved when he got his ass kicked.
Mr. Kennedy, yeah. The thing with him is that he had his own unique way of entrance.
Oh yeah.
Introducing his own self.
Yeah.
Going to the ring, not getting an introduction of his own, but just like introducing his own self. You know what? Thanos it. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Grab the mic from the air, one of those old school microphones that came down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Introduce himself, how much he weighs, at a whooping 200 pounds from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Mr.
Kennedy.
And that was the most unique thing ever when I first saw it.
Oh, absolutely. That's what
This dude introduced his name twice.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't hear it the first time, he'll say it again. And I'm just like watching. I was like, oh, cool, Mr. Kennedy. And then he says it again. I was like, what the hell?
But that's how they used to in the old boxing matches. That's how they would do that, though. I don't know why they did it, but I remember that. I used to like that when they would say, the boxer's name, and then they would repeat it. I guess for fan service. I don't know, but no, I loved that. I loved his whole introduction, and like I said, he was an awesome heel. I never liked him as a face, but
no, never liked him as a face either. When he heel, he just does this, and then his real name
makes you hate him, and that's what you're supposed to do.
His real name is here is Ken Kennedy. His real name is Ken Anderson, but the way he just says like Ken, my name is Ken Kennedy. Yeah. Like, wait, you have two first names?
Yeah, two first names.
When he goes to TNA Impact, he calls himself Mr. Anderson.
Right.
And does it again, Anderson. So it's like the same gimmick, the same type, everything.
Wasn't as catchy, though. Kennedy was way more catchy.
Too bad about the way that his outcome and everything. Like, he could have been the future of the company. I mean, his dad was Vince McMahon. He could have been.
Well, then so could Hornswoggle. But anyway.
Yeah, that was the. All right, since we fired him, we gotta Might as well do this. It's
No,
Hornswoggle.
I thought that was a great match. Though I thought it was Shawn Michaels gave his his best. He was obviously not a young man anymore, but I think that it was equal. I think they were equally matched. I think that Shawn Michaels definitely lended more in the way of being a legend, but I think Kennedy kept up with him, and I think Kennedy actually made the match more of what it was. Like I said, because Shawn Michaels was still a name, but as far as the physicality and as far as making the match what it was, they were easily equally matched. If not, Kennedy might have even been the one to carry the physicality of it, in my opinion.
Right. And he did. He actually did.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I was like rooting. I mean, Shawn Michaels.
Well, I was going for Shawn Michaels. I'm not gonna. I'm a mark. I was going for Shawn Michaels, but
it was kind of getting old that he was there.
Yeah.
And then like Mr. Kennedy, new up and comers, like, all right, let's see what he can do. But Shawn won, and I was like, all right, that just ruined everything.
Oh no, I was happy Shawn Michaels won because, like I said, Kennedy was an awesome heel, and I even to this day I like to stick with the heel and the face stuff. Like I like my wrestling simple. I like my wrestling simple. Good guy, bad guy. Go for the good guy, because I feel like in life, I feel like I'm the good guy. I want the good guy to win. You go through adversity, you get knocked down. The bad guy, but at the end of the day, the good guys win, and that's how I like it. I like that's why I love Hallmark Christmas movies. I like all my stuff, all the controversy you want, but at the end of the day, I want it all in a nice, neat wrap package.
All right. Some stuff about this match. Michaels reeled Kennedy in the beginning of the match. A stomp by Michaels injured Kennedy's hand. His left hand. We got to talk about his left hand. Michaels went on to execute a diving elbow drop on Kennedy, and then he also attempted a sweet chin music, super kick, MMA kick. Got to bring it back, MMA kick. But Kennedy countered into a roll-up. Michaels kicked out, but Kennedy continued to punch Michaels with his injured left hand, further injuring Kennedy. Yeah. Michaels executed a sweet chin music super kick for the victory. A lot of yelling and screaming from Kennedy during the match with the injured left hand being used. I think he overacted a bit.
A little bit, but
a little bit.
He was still new.
I was like, all I kept hearing was yelling and screaming. I was like, damn, dude. All right, I guess. Next match. All right.
This was the best match of the night.
Right. Next match, 1 year after the other. Jeff Hardy versus Triple H for the number one contendership for the WWE Championship, or was this for the Royal Rumble?
Well, so no, it was for the number one contender.
Okay, at to face at the Royal Rumble.
Right.
So,
yeah, it was number one contenders match.
And I'll just realize that going into this match, there were two heavyweight championships. One with the WWE Championship, which was just a regular WWE top belt.
Right.
And then the other one, that was Raw. And then the other one, or SmackDown, it could have been both. The other one was the World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt from WCW.
But I think that wasn't Batista the SmackDown champion back then, or were they not separated anymore at that point?
Yeah, they were separated.
Yeah, so I think the Batista,
because
here Hardy and Triple H were because they could have went for either belt, I guess, right? But
champion here is Randy Orton from Raw,
right?
And then Batista from SmackDown.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm pretty sure Triple H and Hardy were going for number one contender for Orton's belt.
Right. Last match lasted about 15 minutes and 23 seconds. Dude, I'm surprised Triple H at this time is losing matches.
Well, just the fact that he was willing to do business, sure. Yeah. But it was an awesome match, and it was cool that somebody like Hardy, because, he's a tiny guy, but I think they did it well. I think that it's not realistic, in most wrestling fans' minds, but I think that they made the match look good. I think they made it look, and the ending was awesome. It was a clean ending, and it was Okay, I could see it going that way.
Is
Yeah,
this before? Is this during the DX era?
Oh, the
Him.
second incarnation was Shawn Michaels. That's a good question. They weren't DX at that moment. They might have. I think it was within that time frame, yes, but I don't think they were DX at that moment.
Okay. All right, because I remember that. Before the match started, Hardy and Triple H shook hands. See,
Yeah.
I don't trust Triple H as a face.
Oh no, you never.
Like, looking back at it, like I've always considered Triple H the biggest heel ever in the game.
Oh,
all that stuff.
absolutely, yeah.
Just knowing that he was here as a face and shook hands with Hardy is like, what the hell, dude?
Well, and because they had history a little bit, they had teamed up.
Yeah, I love how they said Jim Ross was still around. He says like
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes tag team partner.
Yeah. So
or was
cool.
it Michael Cole that said that? One of them.
I
He
don't
said,
recall, but yeah.
and it was from the Survivor Series match. So Hardy and Triple H are sometimes tag team partners.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. During the match, Hardy seemed days after he suffered a series of clotheslines and shoulder blocks. Triple H tried to execute a pedigree, but Hardy countered into a jackknife pin, which won Hardy the match. As Hardy celebrated, Triple H was smiling at the fact that he was pinned so easily.
Well, and that's what I like. I like the fact that they didn't do any controversy at the end. Triple H was just like, shit, you got me. What can I do?
Right.
You got me.
Triple H then celebrated with Hardy. Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. I thought it was cool that they didn't, I think that was a clean ending to their program.
Clean finish.
Okay,
Right.
You got me. I'll get you next time. But for now, it's your moment. So I thought that was cool.
Next match, Finlay versus the Great Khali. What a freaking banger!
Yeah, right.
Where's that Sheamus banger at? I'm kidding. No, I'm not gonna waste it on this one.
Well, with the technical prowess of Great Khali, how could you not have a 10-star match?
10-star from Great Khali. Never thought I'd say it.
Oh,
the referee's back was turned, and he was distracted by Finlay until Hornswoggle took advantage and hit a shillelagh in the groin of Khali. Finlay hit a shillelagh in the head of Khali, followed by a successful pinfall victory for Finlay. That's it. 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about that one.
Finlay celebrating with his son, or Vince's son.
Yeah. It was tough love. Vince wanted his son to earn the McMahon name.
Great Khali and who's it? Ringer?
Rajan Singh or something.
Basically
his interpreter.
Yeah, Rajan Singh.
Yeah.
I love when these two turn faces and Rajan just keeps saying, like, the Great Khali wants you to dance with him. Yeah.
Yeah, when Great Khali became Rikishi. Anyway. Yeah.
Next match of the night is the Chris Jericho versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. And it's when Chris Jericho was coming back with the Save Us.
Yeah.
The promos, all that stuff. Jericho returned to WWE on the November 19th episode of Raw, interrupting Orton during Orton's orchestrated passing of the torch ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho revealed his intentions to reclaim the WWE Championship in order to save WWE from Orton. He then laid a challenge to Orton with the WWE Championship on the line, which Orton did not accept. A week later, Jericho cost him a match against Ric Flair to further convince him to accept the challenge. After Raw went off the air, Orton accepted the challenge.
This match to me was it was similar, I think, to the Michaels Kennedy, which, here's the funny thing, I think, with this, and tell me if I got it wrong. In the Michaels and Kennedy match, Michaels was the old guard. Kennedy was trying to break in and pass. Michaels was passing torch Kennedy. It's funny that Jericho, at least by years, was the veteran. But I feel like in this match, it was still, I feel like Orton was the veteran. I feel like he was the established guy, and he was trying to. Was that that the vibe of the match, or is it just because I was biased for Orton?
Because Jericho keeps leaving.
Okay.
And he keeps leaving, coming back, and like a fresh new character, he becomes new ever so often. So Randy Orton, being that he's been there for a while, compete, gets the championship belt, all that stuff. He's there 24/7. He does feel like the veteran. As where Chris Jericho comes back, oh hey, I'm back.
Okay.
I want a shot. So like he feels new. To the people, he feels new.
And I mean, I was watching him. I liked him in WCW, but I feel like as far as WWE, Orton was the established guy, even though he was only established at this point for 4 years at the most.
Right.
And he was there for 6-7 years, but he was only established since like 03.
But then Chris Jericho, he comes back ever so often as a new character.
Yeah.
The Lionheart, the Y2J, the Save Us, the List of Jericho.
Yeah.
El Campeón, whatever his name is now. El Ocho.
A little bit of the bubbly.
ROH Chris Jericho. Loses to a jobber Chris Jericho. So, he's there for the fun of it. He doesn't care. So, he comes up with new stuff. So, Randy Orton, being that he's been there for a while, and then Chris Jericho, the freshly new gimmick, comes in.
Yeah.
Nobody will remember anything. They forget.
Sure. Yeah. That's
how old are they? They're about the same age. Oh, okay. So why are we rooting for Chris Jericho? Because.
Right. Which is funny because you would think Chris Jericho's been around so long, you'd think he's 65 and Orton's 30. But yeah, they're pretty much.
Right. Jericho controlled the match by beating Orton and performing many moves. Jericho would then knock Orton to the outside with a clothesline, which made Orton lay in front of SmackDown's announce table. Jericho would then launch into Orton, but Orton would move, which made Jericho run into John Bradshaw Layfield. Mm-hmm. Then Jericho and Orton would get back into the ring. Jericho would then apply the walls of Jericho on Orton. He tried to reach for the ropes, but Jericho pulled him back in the middle of the ring. JBL then interfered and kicked Jericho, which disqualified Orton. A title cannot change hands by disqualification. Therefore, Orton retained the WWE Championship after the match. Orton delivered an RKO to Jericho. From out of nowhere. After the event, the feud between Randy Orton and Chris Jericho slowly died down. Jericho once again defeated Orton on Tribute to the Troops Raw by DQ when former SmackDown announcer JBL entered the ring. After Jericho requested JBL's presence on the December 17th episode of Raw, JBL was outraged, left SmackDown, and announced his return to Raw to wrestle after a 1.5-year retirement. The two began a feud with each other and had a match at the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden, which JBL won by DQ. When Jericho hit JBL with a steel chair. Randy Orton, on the other hand, began a feud with the new number one contender for his WWE Championship, the WWE Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy, who earned himself a title shot by defeating Triple H in the number one contenders match. Orton gave Jeff's brother Matt a running punt to the gut and then one to the head. 2 weeks later, Jeff hit Orton a swanton bomb from the top of a 30-foot high scaffolding, which knocked out both Orton and Hardy, and then they were taking off on stretchers. At the Royal Rumble, Orton retained his title against Hardy after pinning Hardy following an RKO. So there was that.
I'm here to get drunk.
That's right. I have about half a cup of vodka. Drink.
Wait, are we live? Hi, I'm Jessica.
One professional skill that I would really like to learn is stripping.
I'm Sonia.
Because, I'm okay with not being artistic. I'm just that's cool.
And I'm Dawn Marie.
And we are opinionated lushes. I'll make a tomato vodka soup.
Ooh.
Also known as a Caesar.
Once a week, we get together to drink and talk shit. We start our episodes off with a question and a drink word. We usually never stay on topic or wait for the drink word to start drinking.
You're already breaking the game.
There's a new episode of Opinionated Lushes every Friday on all streaming platforms.
Just testing mattresses. Why isn't that a job?
It probably is.
An unedited episode Saturday on YouTube.
You just want to tell people you love them?
Yeah, sometimes you need it.
It just sounds dangerous.
Have a cocktail suggestion?
A topic of interest. A good drinking word?
Feel free to DM us on Instagram or email us at opinionatedlushes@gmail.com. If I don't know you, I will.
So go ahead, grab a drink, any kind of drink, and get ready to laugh with us and share our drunken opinions.
Welcome back, podcasting geeks. Don't worry, the show's almost halfway over. Just sit back, relax, and light up a candle from Dark Fate Creations and just... Huh? Wait, what? You don't have a Dark Fate Creations candle? What do you mean you don't? I've only mentioned it for about 20 episodes. Alright, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to darkfatecreations.com. All one word. Fine, I'll have the link in the show notes. And you're gonna buy yourself a unique cotton wick candle. Just go check it out for yourself. I'll wait. And while I'm waiting and you're clicking on the site and browsing, pick up the vibrant, colorful Marble Tops mouth freaking watering fragrances. It makes me want to do that rock sniff that he does all the time. They're fueled by lovely braided cotton wicks. They are paper threads woven into every cotton wick for a clean, romantic, slow, and consistent burn. Are you deciding? Each candle is unique from the next because they are hand mixed and hand poured in good old Grass Valley, California. They use only coconut and soy wax for a safer, cleaner, and almost 72 hours burn time. That's like 3 days worth of binge time on whatever podcast you're listening to or TV show you're watching. And not only do they care about the look, but also the quality and fragrance of the candles and the effects it has in your homes. So check them out. Buy a few this holiday season. Buy them for birthdays. Buy them for wedding gifts. Or just buy them for yourself. You deserve that. But let me know which one you picked up. Once again, that's darkfatecreations.com. Link will be in the show notes. After this, we get a new Christmas album. We get a sneak peek at somebody's Christmas album.
We got Britney Spears from Wish. That's what we got.
Oh my God! Somebody said it finally. It's like Jillian Hall comes out, and I'm just like, oh goodness. It's like she says new album. It's like, okay, so
yeah, number one on iTunes.
This is legit. So had to go and look it up. There's like 5, 6, 7 songs on there.
Oh
Christmas.
God, is there really?
It's really, and
I didn't want to look it up.
And it's this gimmick right here.
Ugh.
She does it on purpose.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm like, how much did you get paid for this?
No, how much did she pay? She needs to pay us for every time we listen to it.
Exactly. But still, how much did she get paid for making an album which sucks? And then who bought that album?
Super fan, not me.
Super fans who decided.
Super fan.
And it's
I will
called.
say this. Go ahead.
It's called A Jingle With Jillian. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. The album reached number 20 on the UK Holidays Top 100 shortly after its release, before climbing onto the top 50 albums on iTunes.
Wow. I will say this. If they would have had a physical release, I'm such a wrestling mark, I would have got it. Imagine if there was a physical release 20 years from now. That would probably be like one of those, original Disney movies or whatever. Like, oh, you have the first Pinocchio? Like, yeah. I would have bought. If there was a physical release, it would have been at Walmart in the dollar bin. I would have bought it.
In late 2010, 2 bonus tracks were added.
Wow.
R.D. Reynolds of WrestleCrap called the album, without hyperbole, the greatest Christmas album in the history of,
Oh, sure.
history. There are actually 7 tracks. I am not going to put any of the songs on here because I don't want to lose our listeners.
I will say this. I definitely, and all jokes aside, I listened to one of the songs, and I'm saying I listened to one of them, and I would say that is probably actually one of the best. If you like Christmas music, that's actually probably one of the best Christmas songs that she's ever released. So as far as Christmas songs go, if you only compare them to herself, that was like the best Christmas song she's ever released.
Right. So 7 songs, all from her. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Jingle Bell Rock. I'll Be Home for Christmas. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. The Christmas Song. And 2 bonus tracks, Santa Baby and It's Christmas All Over the World.
Mm-hmm.
Great job there, Jillian Hall.
Oh, great, yeah. I will say this. Make sure to buy 1, 2, 3 extra copies and send it to everybody that you hate.
Exactly.
She did, but yeah, I mean, that was a fun segment, though. You got it. Back then, that was fun. It was fun.
And November 19, 2010, Hall was released from her WWE contract. I mean, she was...
Here's a fun fact, though. She was released, but they actually kept the wart. The wart was still under contract for like 3 more years.
Oh, the wart.
The wart. No.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that. No.
Did they fire the wart too?
The boogeyman ate it.
Okay. Well, then never mind. I had some bad intel.
The boogeyman ate it. It's in Boogeyman's stomach. The boogeyman basically grew the wart into a baby boogeyman.
Okay.
So it's wrestling. Don't.
Just, yeah.
Don't ask.
No. Don't ask, don't tell.
Oh, goodness gracious. So after Jillian Hall Christmas album, which took like what? Freaking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I understand why this match was short. Beth Phoenix. Yeah, right. I mean, there was a different time. Whatever. It was back then. Beth Phoenix versus Mickie James for WWE Women's Championship. Match only lasted for 44 minutes and 45 seconds. Do we really need to get into it?
It was an okay match. No, I don't think so. It happened. It's there. If you want to watch it, go watch it.
Phoenix overpowers Mickie, but Mickie bounced back with several near falls. The match came to an end when Phoenix executed a fisherman suplex and then pinned Mickie to retain the WWE Women's Championship. Yeah, you're done. That's it. I hate that they're 4 minutes. There's nothing to talk about.
No, not really.
Nothing really. And it's Beth Phoenix, so she has it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much it. Might as well main event time. All right. Edge versus Batista versus The Undertaker in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Batista is the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm gonna play Batista's music in a few.
Remember, Edge was doing it for the love of his life.
Oh gosh.
The woman that he was genuinely attracted to. Not just because she was the general manager.
She is like 2 years still working there. Even after her husband dies. That's horrible.
That's why they gave her the job. They did it as a favor to him.
That's a favor to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Would he have wanted her to like make out with the Edge and
not if he was alive, obviously.
No, still. Like, what do her kids think? What does the daughter think?
Oh, they know it's a job, I think. But who knows? I mean, I don't know.
Do it for Eddie. Oh.
Yeah, there you go. That's weird.
All right. At Survivor Series, Batista and Undertaker fought in a Hell in a Cell match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge, who was disguised as a cameraman at ringside, interfered and cost Undertaker in a match. He was then given a title shot for the World Heavyweight Championship on November 30th, 2007 episode of SmackDown. by SmackDown general manager Vicky Guerrero, who was his storyline love interest. That same night, Batista defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Edge and looked set to retain his title once again, but Undertaker interfered and chokeslammed Batista, but Edge ran out of the ring to escape similar treatment. Holla, 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 Theodore Long returned as assistant general manager and booked Batista to defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Edge and Undertaker in a triple threat match at Armageddon. Before the match, Edge told Vicky that her love gave him the strength of 3 men. How do you go from Lita to Vicky? What the hell?
Well, sometimes you gotta downsize. Well, upsize in that case, but you get what I mean.
Like, this is your punishment for doing the whole thing with Matt Hardy and all that shit. You now have a love interest for Vicky Guerrero.
Should have never went and wrestled in Saudi Arabia, my boy.
Oh, Rocky Johnson. Batista and Undertaker fought each other to decide who would fight Edge first. Edge kept his distance outside the ring. In the ring, Undertaker applied his triangle choke on Batista. Edge sounded the ring bell, and everyone, even Undertaker himself, thought that the match was over. Edge took the opportunity and speared both men, but could not score a pinfall. Batista dominated the match in the end when he executed a spinebuster on Undertaker and speared Edge outside the ring. Undertaker chokeslammed Batista and sent an attacking Edge to the floor. Batista and Undertaker were fighting inside the ring until the 3 Edges.
Oh, yeah.
The Edge heads. Who were they? The Major Brothers.
That was
freaking Zack Ryder and
and
Kurt Hawkins.
Okay, yeah.
They appeared on the outside floor. Undertaker executed a tombstone piledriver on Batista, after which until the real Edge hit Undertaker with a steel chair on his spine and his skull. Hey, you're not supposed to do that. Edge took advantage and quickly pinned Batista to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge wins. Radar Superstar. Yeah.
Is it safe to say that on that day he saw clearly?
Yeah. The feud between the World Heavyweight Champion Edge and Batista continued the following week on SmackDown, where Batista challenged Edge to a title rematch, but the general manager, Vicky Guerrero, announced that it was a 3-on-1 title match with the Major Brothers, rechristened as the Edgeheads earlier that night. Siding with Edge, after Batista pinned one of the Edgeheads, Guerrero announced that Batista could only become the champion by pinning Edge. Then what's the point? After Guerrero restarted the match, Batista took advantage and went to hit Edge with a Batista bomb, but Kurt Hawkins hit Batista in the leg with a steel chair, resulting in the entire team being disqualified. Due to the fact the title cannot be won when the champion loses by DQ, Edge retained the title. Rey Mysterio won a Beat the Clock match series and earned himself a match against Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship at the Royal Rumble, but Edge retained his title against Mysterio with help from Vicky Guerrero. Yeah. Of course. And that was Armageddon for you. All right. What did you think of the show?
I thought the Triple H match was really good. I thought, well, it was definitely the best match. I think that should have been the main event. I thought the Edge match was good. I'd say overall, I think it was better than the Rumble we just watched. I'd give it a 7.
Give it a 7? Yeah, cool. I give it an 8. Yeah. Like, I was actually enjoying it up until Jillian Hall showed up. And, like, but either, like, nah, I can fast forward this. But, you know, like, okay, never mind. I can't fast forward. I want to, but I can't because I have to watch it.
Right.
And then, look her up, see what she's doing or what she did, and damn, she really did have a Christmas album. Oh boy. So yeah, giving it an 8. It was good. There were some pretty good matches.
Yeah.
A banger match between Great Khali and Finlay. I was so impressed. Oh my.
Oh yeah, match of the night.
Nobody cared about that women's title match because it was so short.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, cool it down because Randy Orton and Chris Jericho just happened.
Right, yeah, they always do that. You gotta, it's like when you have sushi, you take one piece of sushi and then you have to have that piece of, what is it, the ginger to clean your palate so you can have the next piece of sushi.
The only good match on the card that I was excited for, and you said it was pretty good, was Jeff Hardy and Triple H. And it's mid-card. Triple H and mid-card.
Yeah,
like, that has nothing to do with him being in the championship match. Well, it's a contender, and he didn't win, but it was a good match. It was an awesome match.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, right before him is Shawn Michaels and Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, we're going to do the middle stuff. Kane and CM Punk. Sorry.
Yeah, that was...
Start off the show with Rey Mysterio and MVP, which was really awesome.
Cool.
It was a high-flying for them. So, yeah, I give it about an 8. Would you... 8 videotapes out of 10. Will you take it to school the next day?
Yeah, I'd take this one.
I know some Edge heads out there. I know some Edge freaking fans out there that would love it.
Yeah.
Even though there's like, it'd be like, okay, who wants to see this? Like, Batista fans, no. Undertaker fans, like, yeah, hell no. Don't like Edge, whatever. But then the CM Punk fans be loving it, all that shit. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely take it to school. Favorite moment of the pay-per-view?
Probably when when Jeff Hardy got the surprise win.
Surprise win?
Because I wasn't expecting it, especially back then. I wasn't expecting Jeff Hardy to win that one. Figured it would go back and forth, and then something would happen, and Triple H would win, like usual. So.
Yeah, that was surprisingly, the 2008 one is what surprised me the most.
Well, yeah.
This one is just like, oh, cool, Jeff Hardy won. 2008 is like, oh, wow, what? Again? He pinned him again? Least favorite moment, what didn't you like?
Probably the Khali match.
Oh, that was a banger. The banger?
Yeah.
You didn't like the banger?
No.
That's crazy, man.
I'm not a real fan.
Not a real fan of the banger match? The shillelagh was used.
Yeah.
Can't have a banger match without shillelagh. It was like it's a tie between the banger match and the women's match. Never mind. The banger match is the least favorite because at least you got to see two actual women fighting for that championship. Right. Beth Phoenix and Mickie James, who are now legends. Of course. It's funny that Beth Phoenix and Edge are in the same freaking card, and I wonder if their daughters look back at this like, Mom, who's he kissing?
Oh,
like,
like
why isn't Daddy kissing you? Like, Mom and Dad haven't met yet.
Yeah.
They're supposed to meet up when he retires.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Batista's no longer around. He's doing movies. Undertaker's retired. Edge, he's still around somewhere. Mickie James still doing her last rodeo.
Yeah.
I believe it's a pay-per-view coming up for Impact for the Knockouts Championship right before Royal Rumble comes out. So maybe we might see another appearance from Mickie James. I don't know if it will be for the title still.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho, El Campeon. Randy Orton still nursing an injury, still out. Great Khali.
Yeah.
He's in India somewhere. Finlay, he's works backstage for
man.
WWE. Jeff Hardy, back and forth with his demons at this time. Yeah, around there, he was still on that level. He was coming up to that level. 2008, you'll hear why he was on that level already. Triple H, our savior Triple H, who now owns the company.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mr. Kennedy, haven't seen him around. Haven't heard from him in a while.
In a long time.
Shawn Michaels, who is now
Is he
part
still
of
at
the
NXT?
NXT roster. He's back there. So the two guys that have said "suck it" and "fuck authority" are now running the show.
Yeah.
Big Daddy V, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Mark Henry, he's running around in AEW at the moment.
Oh, is he? Oh, wow.
Saying it's now time for the main event. Who should we bring up first? Punk or Kane? Either way is bad. It doesn't look good for these two.
Well, Kane isn't he still a politician?
He's still mayor of Knox County,
Yeah. So.
Tennessee, or something.
All right.
It's suddenly he doesn't believe in masks.
Right. Well, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
He stopped believing in masks in 2003, though.
Right. It's like I don't know. CM Punk, who we haven't heard from him. He's commentator in the UFC, or UFC, is it UFC or Bellator? One of those.
I think it's Bellator.
Making fun of the fact that he got in an altercation at the Scrum a few months back. Rey Mysterio, who is, what's he doing these days? SmackDown.
He's still with the Sun, right? Didn't he get beat up by the Sun?
He got beat up by Dominic.
Right.
Now they're doing the whole Eddie Guerrero thing.
Yeah.
With Dominic. MVP, who is still managing Omos. And John Morrison, who...
Oh, wow.
Apparently he's going by some other name now. And then Miz, you know where he's at.
Yeah. He's on ETV.
So yeah, it was a fun pay-per-view. I loved it. Like, I enjoyed it. And I didn't enjoy Jillian Hall, but I enjoyed it. All right, that's all for tonight's show. And thank you for listening to the show and supporting us. You can find us on other sort of social platforms on our Linktree, linktree.com/From Under the Apron. It has the link to our network, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of our socials, plus our Goods Pod, Spotify, and iTunes accounts, where you can listen to us as well as leave us a 5-star review, which helps us be discovered by other fans of wrestling and podcasts. I also have a Discord account. If you want to add me there, do so at $1,000,000Geek0945 and invite me to your channels. Check out the show notes for links to other podcast trailers that you heard on this episode. Send us a message of your favorite wrestling stories, questions, comments, ratings, or requests by email. It is from undertheapron@gmail.com, and I will do my best to get to them and answer accordingly. Also, click on the link tree if you want to support our podcast in whatever way you can. Thank you for listening and being a huge part of our community. Join us next time and find out what kind of stories are swept as we come to you from Under the Apron. I'm going to go smell Mike Dark Creations candle now. See y'all later.
See ya.